What's good? It's your boy Fanon. All right, man. I'm gonna talk about this welterweight division. You know, that's one of my favorite topics. Is the welterweight division of boxing. I think it's one of the most stacked divisions in boxing, along with the 168-pound division, the 160-pound division. And I guess the heavyweight's kind of top heavy, but it's got a lot of stars, a lot of big names in the 147-pound division, and of course, the biggest name globally in the welterweight division is Manny Pacquiao, who will be facing Lucas Matisse this Saturday on the ESPN Plus app. I got the ESPN Plus app to watch Tiger Woods play golf, so I can watch it. I can watch Manny Pacquiao fight Lucas Matisse on it. But Tim Bradley, who's a former competitor with Manny Pacquiao, fought him 2 times. I think he fought him 3 times, huh? He's 1-2 against Manny Pacquiao. Says something that I don't know, man. First of all, Manny Pacquiao, not Manny Pacquiao, but Tim Bradley's a company man. And he says that Manny Pacquiao still matches up well with any welterweight. And I think to myself, man, okay, who are you talking about? Who is this? Any welterweight? Like Terrence Crawford, any welterweight? And Errol Spence, any welterweight? Man, this dude must have lost his mind. Man, I like Manny Pacquiao, man. Manny Pacquiao is a Hall of Famer, no doubt about it. Manny Pacquiao is a great fighter. Despite all the beef and stuff going on between him and Floyd Mayweather Jr., and whether or not you think Manny Pacquiao lost to Jeff Horn or not, and what you think of the bouts that took place with him and Juan Manuel Marquez, Manny Pacquiao does not match up well with at least 2 of the welterweights. Now, I think Manny Pacquiao might shock you against Danny Garcia. I think Manny Pacquiao Manny Pacquiao versus Sean Porter, that would be, oh my God, I don't even know what would happen in that fight. But I might give Manny Pacquiao the edge over Sean Porter. Maybe. Really, maybe. And as I think about it, it's less and less maybe. But I think Manny Pacquiao is a very, very good fighter. But in what Tim Bradley is saying, man, when you get into conversations about the main 2, there's actually 3. Because you got to keep Keith Thurman up in the conversation until he comes back. And, I'm not so heavy on criticizing Keith Thurman right now until, he comes back and I see what he looks like. I do think that it's a shame that he didn't get in with Errol Spence Jr. early. That's really what what I wanted to see early. But it is what it is. And he's no longer the WBC champion. We'll be getting a new WBC champion in early to mid September. My understanding is that it'll be September 8th. Definitely won't be September 15th because of the Canelo Alvarez Gennady Golovkin fight. So I think the first week of September, the first Saturday in September, that we will get the first fight weekend of September, we'll get a championship for the WBC. But for him to think that he matches up well, he does not match up well with the only realistic fight for him is the WBO championship. Right now is the WBO championship against Terrence Crawford, or the WBA championship against Keith Thurman. Because Keith Thurman, if he beats Lucas Matisse, then he becomes the WBA regular champion. And that is really not a championship belt. That basically puts you as like the number 2 guy in the WBA. That would maybe set him up with a fight against Keith Thurman coming off an injury. And who knows what can happen with a Keith Thurman that is, that's coming off of a long layoff, coming off of surgery. There's a chance if Manny Pacquiao could make that fight with Keith Thurman, that he might be able to beat Keith Thurman. I doubt it. I really, really doubt it. But I do think that's a fight more than likely Keith Thurman would take. But there's 2 fights in that weight division for sure that are terrible matchups for Manny Pacquiao. Terrence Crawford beat the brakes off of him, man. Terrence Crawford beat the brakes off of him. That that fight would be a stoppage, and it would be an embarrassing stoppage. It wouldn't be kind of like the losses that Manny Pacquiao's had in recent memory, because there's of course several losses. The Floyd Mayweather Jr. loss. And Floyd, I think he fought pretty well against Floyd Mayweather. I didn't think he won the fight. I'm not one of these guys that think that Manny Pacquiao won the fight against Floyd Mayweather Jr. That's just not the case. I don't care how many slow-mo replays people play, to try to convince people that he did. He didn't. And but he put on a good performance. He showed that he was an excellent champion. He gave Floyd Mayweather the best fight that Floyd Mayweather had in a while, except for maybe the first Marcos Maidana fight with kind of his awkward stuff. But there are some moments of worry in there for Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao really did try to get at it. So that wasn't an embarrassing loss. I just think that it was a legitimate loss. And then the other one is, of course, the Juan Manuel Marquez knockout. And when he lost to Juan Manuel Marquez, that was just, he got knocked out, but it was a shocker, like boom, and he just laid out on his face. But before that, it was a very, very competitive fight. And then, of course, there was a Tim Bradley loss. Tim Bradley loss, I think, was something where he just looked off. And there's an argument that he could have won that bout against Tim Bradley. A lot of people thought he won the bout. I was watching the fight, and similar to the fight with Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin, I thought that people were giving Manny credit for punches that were being thrown but not landed. But again, it wasn't a situation where there was some type of blowout either one way or the other. And if you believe that Manny Pacquiao won that fight, then hey, man, okay, I could see why you think that. Right, Jeff Horn, same thing, right? But you notice here that I'm piling loss after loss out there, right? Like I'm explaining multiples. I'm explaining why it wasn't a bad loss to Floyd, why it wasn't a bad loss to Horn, why it wasn't a bad loss to Bradley, why it wasn't a bad loss to Horn, right? So Horn, Bradley, and Marquez and Floyd, right? Not all bad losses. At this stage in his career, if he gets in there with Terrence Crawford, it's going to be a bad loss. It's going to be the type of loss that tells you flat out, do not come back into the ring because you're going to get mopped. Terrence Crawford is going to be sticking his tongue out at him, popping him in the head and moving, hitting him with body shots, sticking his tongue out, avoiding punches, blasting him. And then at a certain point in time, he is going to start sitting down on punches against Manny Pacquiao, and Manny Pacquiao is going to get stopped. That's a fight that Manny Pacquiao doesn't want. Clearly a fight that Manny Pacquiao doesn't want. It's because he's had the opportunity to take that bout for a while, and he didn't take the bout. It's a bout that Freddie Roach said that he didn't like for Manny Pacquiao at this stage of his career. Maybe that's why maybe that's one of the reasons, along with the performance with Jeff Horn and the fact that he really hasn't shown any improvement in years under Freddie Roach that caused Freddie Roach to get fired. I don't know. But whatever the case is, Freddie Roach knows that that's a bad fight for Manny Pacquiao. Terrence Crawford is a no, don't do it fight. He does not match up well with Terrence Crawford. If Manny Pacquiao several years ago could have a close bout with Tim Bradley, who's a good boxer, he's a good boxer puncher, he's going to get ran through by Terrence Crawford. That is a no. Don't go near him type of fight. That is a matchmaker's nightmare, unless it's a matchmaker for Bob Arum, who's trying to feed Manny Pacquiao to the wolves. He cannot win that fight. He needs to stay, unless they offer him a crazy amount of money on a pay-per-view fight to be fed to the lions. Hey man, stay away from the Coliseum, homie. It's a pack of lions coming at you, about to rip you up. Stay away, stay out. And that's Terrence Crawford. Errol Spence Jr. will be it's done. Same thing with Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. will stop Manny Pacquiao. He will hurt. If Manny Pacquiao doesn't get knocked out in the first, it's going to go 6 rounds. And it'll be a brutal 6-round beating. At this stage in Manny Pacquiao's career, yes, he's got some punching power. Yeah, he's got some speed, but he's not going to be able to stay away from Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence's jab, they're both southpaws, which I think will make it, would make it interesting. But eventually he's going to wear down Manny Pacquiao because Manny Pacquiao doesn't have the endurance anymore. If Manny Pacquiao still had the endurance, the ability to keep going and to keep up the pace, maybe he could have got Jeff Horn out of there after round 9 when he hurt him in round 9. But he was gassed after he let those punches go. And then the younger, stronger, bigger fighter who was able to absorb those punches kept the pressure on, kept coming. And I think the real reason that Manny Pacquiao couldn't beat Jeff Horn, who's not on Manny Pacquiao's level, I don't believe he's on Manny Pacquiao's level, in skill or ability even now. But endurance and Manny Pacquiao's ability to keep going at that age it's not what it used to be, clearly, for whatever reason. And that's why he couldn't beat Jeff Horn. Now, if you're talking about somebody who puts even more pressure on than Jeff Horn, somebody that is more tenacious to the body, somebody that's also a southpaw, right? And not susceptible to the kind of the one trick, God, what's the one trick? the straight right hand the straight left hand from Manny Pacquiao. That's just an ugly matchup. So I don't know what Tim Bradley is doing here, except for maybe just trying to promote the ESPN fight. Maybe he's calling the ESPN fight. Maybe he's just being polite, being a company man, trying to help sell the fight. I don't know what it is. But whatever he's saying, man, this is similar to, I think his overdoing it with his compliments of Vasyl Lomachenko, being a little bit, just putting a little extra mustard on it. This is not the case here. What he said specifically was, I think that, he matches up with anybody still today. He matches up very well. He really hasn't took any sort of punishment, I don't think, even that Horn fight, some elbows, some headbutts, and things like that. But it wasn't a performance where you're like, you know what? I think the champ is done. I think Pacquiao is finished. And like I said, I agree with that. But like he said, Bradley says here, well, the young ones will always let you know when it's time to hang up. And until a young one reminds Pacquiao that this is a boxing business and you better be on your A game, I think that he should continue on doing whatever makes him happy. Well, yeah, man, let me tell you, if that's going to happen with that young one. And those aren't even young ones. Those are worse than young ones. Well, I guess Errol Spence you could call a young one. Terrence Crawford is a prime one. Manny Pacquiao might be able to get in there with a young one. I know he's young relative to Pacquiao, but a young one. Now he's worrying about a prime one. Don't do it, man. Don't do it, man. Well, if you're going to do it, Manny, just ask for a lot of money, man. Ask for a lot of money. But anyway, it is what it is. Manny Pacquiao was in his victory lap. I think this Lucas Matisse is about the highest level that he should be fighting at right now. Get that WBA belt. If anything, if he wants to try to go for one of the guys, the big name guys at welterweight, try to negotiate a fight with Keith Thurman coming off of an injury, because maybe you can, that'll work. And that's a fight for sure that Manny Pac that he would take. Even Amir Khan, stick to that. Stick to the Lucas Matisses. Stick to the Amir Khans. Stick to that, because Amir Khan got that glass chin and his confidence ain't really the best. Maybe you can still get Amir Khan, but even an Amir Khan Manny Pacquiao fight, I don't necessarily know what's going to happen in that. Unless, of course, Manny Pacquiao catches him on that chin, in which I believe that shit's going to shatter like glass. Anyway, it is what it is with that. I'm out. Peace.